This show is part of One Place, a daily network of focused briefings across the stories people follow most.
Welcome to today's roundup. We have a lot to get through, so let's jump right into the headlines. Britney Spears is reportedly terrified of facing jail time following her recent DUI arrest in Los Angeles. Kevin Federline has broken his silence on the matter, expressing deep concern for his ex-wife's well-being and future. Prince William and King Charles are said to be having explosive fights over how to handle the disgrace of Prince Andrew. Netflix is officially cutting ties with Meghan Markle's lifestyle brand, as ever, leaving the Duchess to go it alone. Chappell Roan and Paris Jackson made massive waves at Paris Fashion Week with some truly daring Vivienne Westwood designs. Victoria Beckham celebrated a successful runway show with her family, though her son Brooklyn was notably absent once again. Emma Watson appears to have found a new billionaire beau, but fans are wondering if there's a revenge plot involved. Noel Gallagher has reportedly grown close to socialite Tory Cook, following his recent split from Sally Mash. We take a look at the long, tumultuous relationship timeline of Shia LaBelle and Mia Goth following their latest split. And finally, tragic new details have emerged regarding the passing of Food Network star Anne Burrell.
Let's start with the latest on Britney Spears. It has been a very heavy week for Britney Spears fans. Following her recent arrest for driving under the influence, sources close to the pop star are saying she is absolutely devastated. Apparently, the reality of the situation has scared the crap out of her, mostly because of the very real possibility of jail time. While she's reportedly taking responsibility and knows she has to face the consequences, her inner circle is desperately praying that the judge leans toward rehab rather than a cell. She knows this doesn't just affect her, but her sons, Sean Preston and Jaden James, which seems to be where the real regret is hitting her the hardest.
And the legal side of this is getting complicated because of what was found in her car. While Britney initially told officers she only had one mimosa, the California Highway Patrol confirmed she was taken in for a combination of drugs and alcohol. Reports suggest she had Adderall in her possession that she might have picked up in Mexico. Now, since this is her first DUI, a judge might normally be lenient, but if the toxicology tests show more serious narcotics, or if those pills were laced with something like fentanyl or cocaine, the jail threat becomes much more immediate. Her team is currently working on a medical detox plan, focusing on her health rather than her career, which honestly sounds like exactly what she needs right now.
Now let's see how her ex-husband is reacting to this news. Kevin Federline is officially addressing the situation through his attorney, Mark Vincent Kaplan. He's essentially saying that he hopes for the best for Britney, and that if she needs help, he hopes she won't resist the people trying to provide it. There's a really telling quote from Kaplan where he asks if this arrest is just a one-off or a one more, which suggests there's a fear that this is part of a larger downward spiral. It's a tough spot for Kevin because he's trying to balance his concern for the mother of his children with the reality of her legal and personal struggles.
It's also worth noting that some sources are linking the spiral back to Kevin's own tell-all memoir. There are claims that the release of that book really sent Britney into a tailspin recently. Whether or not that's the direct cause, it's clear the tension between their camps is still very high. Kevin and his lawyer claim they don't have any inside info beyond what's being reported in the media, but they are definitely watching closely. It's a sad situation all around, and you have to hope for the sake of their boys that the support system around her can actually make a difference this time.
Next up, we're heading across the pond to look at some royal tension. The drama within the British royal family is reaching a boiling point, specifically between Prince William and King Charles. The source of the friction? Prince Andrew. William is reportedly adamant that his uncle needs to be completely removed from the royal lineage and cut out of royal life entirely following the ongoing Epstein scandals. He's apparently horrified that this wasn't handled years ago and is now accusing his father of dragging his feet. For William, this isn't just about family, it's about the survival of the monarchy. He wants Andrew to suffer serious consequences, and he wants it done quickly to stop the stain from lingering on the family name.
King Charles, however, is refusing to be pushed, and that's leading to what insiders call explosive fights behind closed doors. You have to remember, Charles is currently battling cancer, and while he's promised William more power and responsibility, William reportedly feels frozen out of these major discussions. There's also the legal pressure from the English government, which is considering formally axing Andrew from the line of succession after his arrest in February for allegedly sending secret documents to Epstein, with reports suggesting Charles might even step aside within the next year. This power struggle between father and son is becoming a defining moment for the future of the throne.
Moving on to another royal-adjacent story, this time involving Meghan Markle. Netflix has officially ended its partnership with Meghan Markle's lifestyle brand, As Ever. This brand, which launched back in April 2025, sells everything from fruit spreads and flower sprinkles to candles and wine. While a spokesperson for Netflix was very complimentary, saying they were glad to help bring her vision to life, the timing is definitely raising some eyebrows. The official line is that the plan was always for the brand to eventually stand on its own 2 feet, and Meghan will continue to grow it independently. But when you look at the bigger picture of her and Harry's projects with the streamer, things look a bit more precarious.
Exactly. Because the word is that her series, With Love, Meghan, isn't coming back for a 3rd season due to poor ratings. If the show isn't airing, it doesn't make much sense for Netflix to keep the retail partnership going. There are also reports that other projects with the Sussexes are stuck in limbo. While sources close to Meghan insist that we can still expect seasonal specials of her show, industry insiders are starting to wonder if Netflix is slowly distancing itself from the couple. It's a major test for the brand's viability. Can As Ever actually survive without the massive marketing machine of a global streaming giant behind it?
Now, let's shift our focus to the high fashion world of Paris. Paris Fashion Week is in full swing, and the Vivienne Westwood show was the place to be this weekend. Chappell Roan and Paris Jackson both made massive statements with their outfits. Chappell wore a metallic silver corseted dress that looked fairly standard from the front, but it actually left her bottom completely exposed at the back, save for a black lace thong and sheer tights. It was a classic, bold Westwood move. Meanwhile, Paris Jackson went for a figure-hugging catsuit with a plunging neckline and that iconic red rocking horse pattern. They both looked incredible, but Chappell's comments about the industry during the event were perhaps even more striking than the clothes.
She was very candid about her mental health, wasn't she? She mentioned having a team of women behind her, including a life coach and a therapist, just to help her be kinder to herself. She even went as far as to say that the music industry is really upped, and that she sometimes regrets picking this job because of how it impacts her life. It's a stark contrast to the glamour of the front row, seeing someone so successful admit that the internet and the constant eyes on her feel like self-harm. It's a reminder that behind the pale white face makeup and the quirky dresses, these artists are dealing with some very heavy pressure.
Next up, we have more from Paris, but this time it's about the Beckham family. Victoria Beckham's Fall/Winter 2026 show was a star-studded affair, and for the most part, it was a family celebration. David was there looking dapper, along with Romeo, Cruz, and Harper. Victoria even shared some really sweet, loved-up photos with David after the show, thanking her family for always being there. She's clearly at the top of her game, especially after being named a Knight of the Order of Arts and Letters recently. But there was one glaring absence that everyone noticed: her eldest son, Brooklyn. He was nowhere to be found, continuing what seems to be a very deep and very public estrangement from the rest of the clan.
It's more than just a missed event at this point. Brooklyn released a bombshell statement in January, essentially cutting all ties with his parents. He's living in the US now with his wife, Nicola Peltz, and he's been skipping everything: David's 50th, Victoria's 51st, even his brother Cruz's 21st birthday. He's making a very conscious effort to distance himself, which is such a contrast to how the Beckhams usually present themselves as this unbreakable unit. While Victoria is posting about her 68,000 pounds Hermes bags and her successful runway, there's clearly a lot of heartbreak behind the scenes regarding her firstborn.
Now let's shift to some romance rumors involving Emma Watson. Emma Watson was spotted in a Mexican airport recently, and she wasn't alone. She was seen sharing a very tender kiss with Gonzalo Hevia Bayeres, a Mexican tech entrepreneur and heir to a multi-billion-pound fortune. His family is one of the wealthiest in Latin America, owning everything from mining firms to high-end department stores. Emma has been taking a step back from Hollywood lately to focus on her doctorate at Oxford, and it seems she's found someone who can keep up with her. They've reportedly been seen everywhere, from the French Alps to exclusive Mexican resorts, and he's even introduced her to his parents already.
But there's a bit of a twist here. Gonzalo's ex-girlfriend, the singer Belinda, released a song recently called Heterochromia that many think is a direct shot at him. The lyrics talk about an ex from generational wealth who sold a fantasy and was high and mighty with an empty mind. Interestingly, Gonzalo actually has the condition heterochromia, where his eyes are different colors, which makes the song title pretty unmistakable. Some fans are even speculating that these cozy photos of Emma and Gonzalo might have been leaked as part of a revenge game between the exes. Emma, with her own £42 million fortune, certainly doesn't need his money, but she might be walking into some serious drama with this one.
Next up, we have some news about Noel Gallagher's love life. Noel Gallagher had a big night at the Brit Awards in Manchester, taking home Songwriter of the Year, but it was his companion that caught everyone's eye. He was sitting with socialite Tori Cook, and sources say the two have grown close following his split from Sally Mash a few months ago. Tori is a publicist who's been in Noel's circle for nearly a decade. She's even friends with his ex-wives, Sarah McDonald and Meg Matthews. It seems she's already formed a bond with Noel's daughter, Anais, too. They were spotted partying together at a Soho House after-party, looking very comfortable in each other's company.
It's a small world in that social circle, isn't it? Tori was actually pictured standing right next to Noel's recent ex, Sally Mash, during the Oasis tour in South America last year. She's also recently split from her husband, Hugo Heathcote. Friends are saying that she and Noel are just really enjoying each other's company right now. After the high-profile nature of his divorce from Sarah McDonald, it's not surprising to see him leaning on someone who has been a trusted friend for years. It'll be interesting to see if this develops into something more permanent or if they're just supporting each other through their respective breakups.
Now, let's look at the complicated history of Shia LaBeouf and Mia Goth. Shia LaBeouf and Mia Goth have officially split again, and looking back at their timeline, it's been one of the most volatile relationships in Hollywood. They met back in 2012 on the set of Nymphomaniac and had a decade of extreme highs and lows. There was that infamous public argument in Germany in 2015 where Shia was caught on video saying he would have killed her if he stayed, followed by a non-legally binding Elvis wedding in Vegas in 2016. They divorced in 2018, reconciled in 2020, and eventually welcomed a daughter, Isabel, in 2022. Shia even wrote about how they had found each other again with love and mutual respect.
But that peace didn't last. New reports show that police were called to their home in November 2024 for a verbal altercation where Mia was heard on a 911 call telling him to just go. By 2025, they had quietly broken up, with Shia moving to New Orleans following more legal trouble involving assault charges. Sources say Mia is very independent and is prioritizing their daughter now. It's a sad end to a relationship that always seemed to be pushed to the edge. Shia is still staying in touch for the sake of Isabel, but it sounds like the drama and the complicated nature of their bond finally became too much for them to sustain.
Finally, we have some tragic updates regarding the late Anne Burrell. The culinary world is still mourning the loss of Anne Burrell, and new details have emerged about her passing in June 2025. Her death has been officially ruled a suicide caused by acute intoxication from a combination of substances, including ethanol and amphetamines. Most heartbreakingly, it's been confirmed that she left a note. This comes after a life that, on the outside, seemed full of success and recent personal happiness. She had married her husband, Stuart Claxton, in 2201 after meeting on Bumble, and she had spoken about how he changed her perspective on marriage. Before Stuart, she had a long-term relationship and engagement with fellow chef Corin Grieveson, which was famously brought into the spotlight by Ted Allen back in 2012.
It's a tragic reminder that you never truly know what someone is going through. Anne was such a vibrant personality on Worst Cooks in America and Secrets of a Restaurant Chef. She had worked so hard for her rock star chef life, and she seemed to have finally found a balance between her career and her family life with Stuart and her stepchild. The details of the toxicology report are difficult to hear, but they shed light on the internal struggle she was facing. She was only 55 years old, and her loss leaves a huge hole in the Food Network family. It's a somber note to end on, but it's important to remember her for the incredible talent and joy she brought to the kitchen.
That's all for today's roundup. Thank you for joining us for these stories.
We'll be back tomorrow with more updates. Make sure to follow the show so you never miss a briefing. Have a good one.